What are your 2024 predictions for real estate?
Trends in real estate. Yeah. So there.
It's going to crash.
I don't know.
Not North Carolina.
There is an aspect that will crash, and I'll go over some of the reasons why it's going to crash. The office retail is going to crash. It is going to be Armageddon. It's going to be the residential crash that we had in 07 and 08. The next 6 to 48 months, the commercial is going to be worse than that, and I'll explain why in a little bit. But so. Yeah, we have political unrest. I have no idea what Ukraine and Israel has to do with selling real estate in Chatham County, North Carolina, or anywhere in the United States. But the global economy and political unrest is having an impact on us already. There are people that are upset about the situation in Israel, Gaza right now, and they're not buying real estate because of it. Makes no sense to me. The inflation that we're having in this country is happening in Canada, is happening in Europe and everything. Rise in interest rates, that's having an impact. So the global economy and political unrest is already currently having an impact on real estate purchases, and it will in 2024 as well. The other thing is we still haven't gotten over the COVIDs. This hybrid work situation is still. I'm of the Elon Musk persuasion. If you want someone to work effectively, it is better that they come into the damn office and work. It's not as effective, and so there's still a huge hybrid work situation, which is having an impact on where people will live and what they'll do, and that's having. We're seeing that still. There's still a hybrid. There's a tug and pull. I mean. The corporate world knows that you're not as effective if you're working from home, but it's hard to unring that bell. Once people decided that they found out that they're rare enough and there's a shortage of workers that they're like, well, if they want to keep me, they're going to let me work at home. So it's a tug and pull there. The housing shortage, we still have very little inventory. We're still behind as far as new construction is concerned. There's still a high demand for more homes, and there's a lot of people that don't want to give up their 2.5% or 3% interest rate for a 6 or a 7 right now. So there is a tremendous shortage of inventory. That is not going to be corrected in 2024. I'm not saying that prices are going to continue to go up. I'm not going to say that it's going to be a great market in 2024, but there's not going to be a whole lot of stuff for sale. That's for sure. Artificial intelligence is having an impact. We've talked about that a little bit, but I am getting responses from agents via text that I know they did not write. It is just, and it's just weird, and it's kind of lazy or whatever. I'm seeing remarks that are written by some kind of language platform, and I think artificial intelligence is going to continue to have an impact in our industry. We're seeing different services in real estate where you're calling and talking to what you think is a receptionist, or you're getting a text and you're not even talking to a human being right now. And I think that's going to continue to have an impact on our industry. The labor shortage, I've talked about how I'm in desperate need of an administrative position right now. We probably could hire 2 or 3 administrative people. I just had one that left to go work with their spouse, and she was great. And normally when I've had a vacant opening like that, I've had 15 to 25 people apply for the job. I've had very few people apply for the job, and the few people that I did have apply for the job, I recently graduated from college. This is not what I want, but I'll work here until I find what I want. And there's so much that goes into training. I'm not interested in that right now, but there's tremendous labor shortage right now. Migration's having an impact. Everybody's talking about the wall. The immigrants are having an impact on Chatham County right now, and I think migration will still, but not only do we have the international migration, the other thing that's having an impact in this country is there's still to this day a migration to the southeast. There are people that are leaving the west coast to the northeast, and this is where they're coming. So we have migration from outside of our country into this country, and we have migration within this country. The supply chain, I mean, we used to be able to pump out a house in like 6 to 9 months. It's just not happening. I mean, I have people that are at their wits' end. They were promised a house in 12 to 18 months. They're already past 24 months now. You can't do certain things until you have you can't do the rest of the house until the roof trusses come in. And those are like 6 to 12 weeks backed up. They'll be waiting for duct work. They'll be waiting for windows. There's a lot that it's a domino effect. And if there's supply chain shortages, they're just getting backed up. People are talking about pricing reset. We have the higher interest rates. Everybody's waiting for a crash. It hasn't happened. I'm not saying that prices won't adjust, but like everybody's waiting for it. There seems to be like some of my investors are like, well, Eric, I want to buy some rental properties, but I'm going to wait until, the prices really crash. I don't think those prices are really good. I mean, I think there's going to be a softening, but I don't think there's going to be the crash that they think there's going to be. And the biggest thing that's happening right now is America's aging infrastructure. We're having a lot of problems with, I cannot believe this because this is the same issue we were having 120 years ago, but water and sewer. People talk about public transportation, fiber internet and high-speed internet and proximity to airports. None of that matters. It's still water and sewer. Pittsburgh's hugely affected by a shortage in wastewater capacity. Now we have Wolfspeed and Siler City should be growing like crazy, but it doesn't have sewer capacity right now. Pittsburgh is definitely linking up to Sanford, and so that problem should be corrected in a couple of years' time. Siler City's looking into that relationship with Sanford, so that should be corrected. But we still have a giant county that doesn't have municipal sewer, and that's still the aging infrastructure and the lack of sewer is still one of the biggest things that we have. And I've actually had some big commercial deals in the Raleigh area, and it's been shortage of energy. Like these companies have wanted to come from California and open up in the Raleigh area, but when they talk to the power companies, they're like, sorry, we can't meet that capacity. I thought America always had power. Like I didn't know that was ever a shortage, but they're like, nope, sorry, we can't meet that need. So still the infrastructure is a big deal. So going back to the real estate Armageddon, when we had the residential crash in 07, 08, a lot of people think that was because a lot of mortgages were given to people that didn't qualify for them on an individual basis. When you look at the data, it was very rare that someone's primary residence got foreclosed on. It happened, but like if you think of all the bills that you're going to have, if you have to borrow money, borrow money from mom or dad to get your mortgage, or if you have to take a second job or whatever, you're not going to give up your primary house. The real crash that we had in 07 and 08 was because of the people that bought 5, 6, 7, or 10 houses. And when they were overextended buying those houses, and a lot of them were investment or rental houses, when they couldn't make those, they're just like, yeah, forget it, and they let them go. But they didn't let go of their primary mortgage. So it was a crash, but it wasn't as huge of a crash as what we could have happened. And it wasn't that much of a crash in this area. This market really didn't do that badly. It was like Nevada, Arizona, Florida, and California that really got socked. But North Carolina, not so bad. We're in a much, much different situation with the commercial. The commercial, you don't get a 30-year loan on a commercial. You get a 20 or 30-year amortization, but it has a 2, 3, or 5-year balloon. So you get that loan, and then the bank comes knocking on your door and says, all right, Eric, we gave you that introductory rate of 3.5, but guess what? Commercial rate now is 8%. And so instead of your payment being $2,200, it's going to be $4,300. Oh, I understand that you have a 20% vacancy right now, but your mortgage just went up. And so if you were having a tough time making it at that lower interest rate, you're going to have a really tough time when the mortgage rate doubles. And so you're going to have all these commercial deals in the next, well, it's happening now, but especially in like the next 6 to 36 months, or maybe 6 to 48 months, all those people are going to be asked to renew at a higher interest rate. And commercial people are a lot different. If the numbers don't work, they'll say, forget it, take it back. I mean, they're not going to hold on to it like the residential people did. They're going to say, yeah, the numbers don't work, I'm out. And so I really predict an incredible amount of hurt, real estate Armageddon. I mean, it's going to be nasty in the commercial sector when it comes to retail and office. So those are my predictions for 2024.